Hey guys, John Jr. here, bringing you guys another APA video. Before we jump into this, I want to go ahead and say a couple of things. Of course, if you want to skip the team builder, there is a timestamp in the description below. But other than that, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I asked for 10 likes on the last video and my mind was going to be blown. We hit 55 before I started recording this video, which is absolutely insane. Like 1,000 views almost, or like 700. I don't know, it's something insane. I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for all of you that decided to click on the video, decided to click like, or just decided to stick around, subscribe, whatever it may be, comment. I appreciate you guys more than you will ever know. This is what I do, this is what I love to do, and it's because of you guys that I love to do this. So thank you guys so much. So let's aim for 15 likes this time, actually. Actually, you know what? It'd be cool if we could beat the likes on the previous video. I'm really happy with any likes, so just leave a like if you enjoy. We'll see how many we get. But this week we are going up against Tyler Deathly and his Seattle Drizzlers. Gotta make sure that I have his stuff on screen. I do. Oh my gosh, this is so surreal, guys. I've watched Tyler ever since he did, was it 251, 252? Whichever live stream he did with Dan when he first got into Pokemon. I've been watching him since then, and I've been a big fan of him. Like, I know the meme and all, big fan, but for real, like, I'm a huge fan of Tyler. I really appreciate what he does. He's one of my favorite content creators, and I think he makes some really good videos. If you haven't checked him out, please check him out in the description below. He is such a good content creator, really entertaining, and I love his videos so much, and it's so awesome to be able to battle him. But we're gonna go ahead and hop into this team builder here. You can see his team on screen. You can see the 6 that I'm bringing. I'm gonna be breaking down why I'm bringing what I'm bringing, what kind of EVs I'm bringing, all the sets, things like that. So the first mon, and I got a little note card here because I already played. But the first thing that I noticed that really stood out to me was you look at the matchup and you look at Infernape. Oh, another thing before we get into this, shout out to everybody that helped me prep, whether that be George, Ogle, Silver, Quinto, Hacker, Owen, who am I forgetting? I'm forgetting some other people, but shout out to my front office, man, because without you guys I couldn't build this team completely. Actually, there's a Primarina, you guys can tell. That was completely George. The Primarina is completely George's set. I came to the guys and I was like, alright, I've got 5 mons, I've got a couple of moves, I've got a little bit of EVs, let's work with this. So, really appreciative of the guys in the front office, so much so. But the first one here we do have is Infernape. You look at his team and you look at Infernape, and he doesn't have a lot of good answers. His team is Kyurem Black, Omega Gardevoir, Scizor, Hawlucha, Roserade, Seismitoad, Umbreon, Galvantula, Stoutland, Gigalith, and Jellicent. Now, the main threats that I noticed when I first looked at his team, Kyurem Black was extremely scary for my team. I had hair, I'm sorry. Kyurem Black was extremely scary when it came to my team. Hawlucha had a really good matchup other than Tornadus, but once he got the Unburden boost off, Hawlucha was a big threat. Galvantula was always scary, and the opportunity of webs, it was always very prominent. Seismitoad was going to be very hard to break without like a really solid grass type, because my grass is Serena and it doesn't really appreciate being burned, so it's really hard to switch it in on the Seismitoad. So Seismitoad was going to be hard to break. Roserade had a pretty good matchup, I felt like. Jellicent could easily wall us. Jellicent could be a really big threat when it came to a lot of our mons. And I felt like Mega Gardevoir was the biggest threat. I felt like we had no switch-ins to Mega Gardevoir. I felt like if he just made one prediction right and clicked HP Fire on our Scizor switch-in one time and killed us, we kind of just lost. We had no switch-ins to Mega Scizor. But I do think that we had the matchup going into this outside of Mega Gardevoir, which we obviously have Mega Scizor for. And if we play smart around that, you know, we'd be fine. Looking at the matchup, I think that we really had the matchup advantage. This is like the 5th time I've said this, but the first one I looked at is Infernape. His team does not deal with Infernape at all well. We have enough speed to outspeed the base 100s. We have enough speed to outspeed everything except for the Hawlucha and Galvantula. I'm not a fan of speed tying. I don't like to speed tie, so I was fine with having Galvantula outspeed us, and Hawlucha always outspeeds us anyway, so I was fine with that. We have enough Spadef to live one I think it's uninvested? Live one uninvested Scald from the Seismitoad, and no, maybe it was 1 252 special attack Scald from the Seismitoad and enough defense to live one no investment Earthquake from the Seismitoad, because I felt like we'd be matched up against the Seismitoad in more scenarios than not. And then we have enough attack to guarantee Oko QB after rocks. I felt like we could get rocks up in this match. I felt like that was very, very reasonable. And then we have a move for basically every situation. We have Grass Knot for the Seismitoad, which I expected him to kind of expect. Maybe have the Rindo Berry, something like that. Close Combat just hits his team insanely hard, as does Flare Blitz, and then U-Turn for momentum. We could have also went with a setup Swords Dance set, I suppose, but with Hawlucha always being there and always being prominent, I really felt like just being able to hit things as hard as we could with these 4 moves was going to be the smartest scenario. We had Fire Z because his team doesn't really appreciate Fire Z. I could have also easily went Fightinium Z, but I felt like based on what I thought was coming, Fire Z hit more Mons. You look at his team, and 5 Mons get hit at least neutrally from the Fire Z, and only, let's see, one... Is it only 2? Does Galvantula get hit neutrally from Fighting Z? I don't remember, but Fire Z just generally had a better matchup based on the mons that I thought were coming. So we did get kind of hard walled by Jellicent, but I was fine with that because we had Raikou, and Raikou always beat the Jellicent, so I was fine with that. But next up here we do have Rock Paper, the Mega Scizor here. Tyler's one of the most real guys in the APA. Like, he's so nice, such a nice guy to talk to. I've had conversations with him, and he was teasing me about how I picked the wrong Scizor and how he had the superior Scizor. So you already know I had to bring my boy Mega Scizor. We had 2 different variations of Mega Scizor on the team at one point. We had a bulky this one that you see, this bulky one, and then we had an offensive speedy one with like HP Fire, Bullet Punch, Swords Dance, and U-Turn? Bug Bite? Something like that. We had a couple of variations, but George and I ultimately decided that this was the proper Scizor to bring. We have enough attack to guarantee Oko 252 HP Gardevoir with BP, and then we dump the rest into HP, and then we have a rock-friendly number of HP with a little bit in Spadef to help us be able to take those HP Fire a little bit better. We have, this is our Defogger. I didn't think that we could really fit Defog on Baby Obo or Tornadus, so we went ahead and put Defog on the Scizor. We have Roost for longevity, and then we have U-Turn for momentum. Absolutely love momentum. Momentum is going to be huge in this game. But next up here we do have Bird Brain, the Torn T. I feel like Bird Brain really had 4 move slot syndrome in this game really hard. We needed like 7 moves. We needed Sludge Wave, Focus Blast, U-Turn, Knockoff, we needed Heat Wave, we needed Hurricane. There were a lot of moves that we needed, but these are the 4 I ultimately decided on. Sludge Wave for the Mega Gardevoir, Focus Blast for the QB, U-Turn for momentum, and Knockoff to just help us generally overall. Knocking off items in this game is going to be really helpful, really useful. If we can catch the Hawlucha with a knockoff, if we can catch, you know, the Seismitoad with a knockoff, the Roserade with a knockoff, whatever it may be, knockoff is a really good move in this game. So we have enough let me see here. We have enough speed to outspeed, I believe, the Hawlucha. No, enough speed to outspeed the Galvantula. I wasn't really worried about the Hawlucha when it came to Bird Brain here, but we have, let me see. We do not get Oko by QB with Life Orb with Ice Beam, and we can 2-hit KO the QB with Focus Blast. We do not get 2-shot by the Mega Gardevoir, which is really nice. And we are AV to help us with that because we didn't really have a great answer to the Mega Gardevoir, so Bird Brain was kind of going to be here to be that Mon and be here to help us out here a little bit. But next up here we do have Gligar the Baby Obo, or Baby Obo the Gligar, excuse me. But this was the answer for Hawlucha. You look at the first 3 Mons, and we don't really touch Hawlucha. Offensively, at least, Tornadus doesn't really care about it. Maybe can scare it out, but we don't really offensively touch it because obviously we don't have a Flying Stab. So I really wanted a Mon to be able to wall Hawlucha, and I felt like Gligar could really do that. Rocks are super nice in this game, so I wanted to bring Rocks. We have Aerial Ace with enough attack to 2-hit KO the Hawlucha if he's 252 HP. And we have EQ for just damage spread overall. I initially had U-Turn because I really wanted a lot of momentum this game, but George said that Earthquake would probably come in handy a little bit more than U-Turn, so I went with that. And then we have enough Spadef to take 1 HP Ice from the Roserade, and we dumped the rest into defense. Pretty generic Gligar here, even though the EV spread doesn't look like it. But next up here we do have Raikou LT Gray. I had him initially as a I had him initially as an Assault Vest user, but George really thought that Expert Belt did a little bit better in this game, so we did switch it up to do a little bit more damage, and I agree with him after looking at the matchup a little bit more that Expert Belt Raikou was the way to go. Aura Spear, Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, plus HP Grass. It's pretty much everything. Aura Spear is really, really nice for the QB. Volt Switch and Thunderbolt, just that dual electric is really, really nice. Momentum is so nice in this game, like I've said before. Thunderbolt, he doesn't really have great switches to Thunderbolt, and we need that to 2-hit KO the Jellicent. Hidden Power Grass has a lot of really good things that it hits. We can make some neutral plays with the Jellicent, with the Seismitoad. The Seismitoad obviously is what's going to want to wall us, so we can click HP Grass on that. And then we have Aura Spear for the QB. We did have to run minus Spadef plus special attack because we have Aura Spear, which I hate, but we have enough speed to outspeed the Gardevoir, which I assumed if he was going to be speed creeping, would be speed creeping our max speed Gligar. Or maybe even max speed Scizors. So I went with, he was speed creeping max speed Gligar because our speed tiers are really whack. So we went ahead and made it a couple of speed points higher than what it would be. I think it would be like 152 or something, so we made it 155. But that's really, really nice, and I really like this Raikou overall. Next up here, and lastly, we have Primarina. This Primarina was completely George's set. I had no idea what to do for the last mon, so I went to my boys, and George threw this idea at me, and I really, really liked it. Rest Talk, Moonblast, Scald, Primarina. The only reason we have Scald is because we don't touch Scizor with Moonblast. I halfway wish we had like a different move other than Scald, like just looking at the matchup, because look at his team and look at his Moonblast switch-ins, man. They don't exist. Like, even Primarina does, or even Roserade doesn't appreciate a Moonblast. Like, Primarina hurts. And I'm not the biggest fan of Primarina, but Primarina hurts. We have Moonblast, like I said, it hits everything. Scald specifically for the Scizor, and we have Rest to have longevity here a little bit. We have enough defense to live a +2 acrobatics from Hawlucha, and that's the set. We are running Metronome, and this was the first time I ever ran Metronome. Metronome's really, really cool because the more you click a move, the more powerful it gets. I believe it caps at 1.5 times? Max 2 times after 5 turns. That's wild. You look at his team, you look how spammable Moonblast is. We are going to be clicking Moonblast a lot, so having the option to have that double damage is absolutely insane. So I really like this Primarina set. Shout out to George for it, and maybe I'll learn to love Primarina through this. But that's the team that we're rocking with, guys. I'll go ahead and cut to the match, and I will see you guys in just a sec. Welcome if you skipped the team builder here. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this match with Tyler. Like I don't know if I've said this before, but I'm sorry that they're post comms. I wish I could do live comms, but cap cards are expensive, man. But we see his team here. He brought a little bit different of a team than what we expected. No Kyurem Black. That was amazing. I didn't expect that at all. That blew my mind. But instead he brings the Jellicent, who was going to be very, very hard to break. And he actually brings Scizor over Hawlucha. I kind of over-prepped for Hawlucha. We had an entire mon dedicated to Hawlucha, and I under-prepped for the Scizor very, very severely. So, looking at the team matchup, George and I discussed leads beforehand, and he said that Tornadus was a pretty good lead, Scizor was a fine lead, or if I saw the Galvantula, guarantee lead Raikou, because he's kind of forced to like Sticky Web, or he's forced to Volt Switch out into something else since we are slower. So that's exactly what we're going to do going into this matchup here against Tyler. We're going to lead LTGray and see what he does end up leading. I expected that Galvantula lead. I had some nerves going into this match too. I had some nerves, but we are going to be challenged by Trap Master here. Oh my gosh, it's so surreal. But he is going to send out Galvantula here, so we get the lead matchup correct, and we are going to send out our boy LTGray here. And LTGray is going to do what LTGray does. We are going to underspeed the Galvantula, which he probably did not expect, and we are going to be able to go for a thick Volt Switch here, as he goes for a Volt Switch of his own. Probably very surprised that he outsped us, as he does a little bit of damage because we are minus Spadef, but it is what it is, and he does reveal to be Life Orb, which is really nice. Not getting those webs up is really, really nice for us, as he decides to go into Seismitoad. So he gets that play right. I almost HP Grass, but George advised me not to go too let me pause. George advised me to kind of play into him a little bit, kind of make him feel comfortable in the beginning game and then overplay late game. So we're going to hard switch into Bird Brain here. I felt like Tornadus was a really good switch. He either got Rocks up or he Earthquaked here. I didn't really expect anything else, but he's actually going to double out into the Roserade, so that was really surprising to me. I did not expect the Roserade at all. I'm just going to go right for a knockoff here. I feel like if he stays in, he's going to be Scarf, which he is, and we'll be able to knock off that item. Otherwise, he will switch out, and we'll be able to get a knockoff on another Mon, and we knock off his Choice Scarf. So that does a hefty amount of damage. I'm just going to go for a U-turn here, as he does decide to switch out, which it feels so good to click a momentum move when somebody switches out. It feels so good, but he goes into Jellicent here. We are going to click U-turn, and I'm like, okay, Jellicent's annoying. What are we gonna do? We switch out and we go into LTGray once more. LTGray shows his face again, and I do believe right here I had a pretty tough decision. I felt like, oh, hold on, I'll let that play out. I felt like he either, right here, he went into Seismitoad, which I felt like was way too obvious, man. I felt like there was no way he went Seismitoad again. He stayed in predicting me to overplay, or he went into Roserade, because Roserade's a pretty good middle ground on LP Gray, because obviously I've got to have the HP Ice for the Seismitoad here. So I decided to click HP Grass on his potential switch into the Seismitoad, or his potential staying in and do a big chunk to that thing. But he actually goes into Galvantula, which was a little bit surprising to me, but I am able to get the Hidden Power Grass or damage off. I believe it's, yeah, Hidden Power Grass, and it doesn't do much of anything to this Galvantula, but we're in the same spot where we want to be. But I'm going to actually hard switch, because George told me to do this situation. I expect him to go for Volt Switch or Bug Buzz, as he does go for Bug Buzz. And George told me about this exact situation right here. George helps me so much, guys, but basically I opened my third eye here, and I was like, okay, I know he's going to click either Bug Buzz or Volt Switch on my Raikou. There's no way he doesn't. If he overplays, there's no way he goes HP Ice. It doesn't make any sense, right? Like, it does like 2 damage to Raikou. I get a nice Volt Switch off. There's no way. So he either clicked Bug Buzz or Volt Switch there. So my switch into Gligar was really free basically. So you see, he does such little damage there, it doesn't even matter. Now here, he either beats Gligar or he beats Scizor. He either has HP Fire or he has HP Ice. He cannot have both. He cannot hit both Gligar and Mega Scizor. So right here, I wanted to find out which one he could not hit. So we go into Gligar, and we are going to switch into Tornadus here actually to scout whether it's HP Ice damage and it's super effective, or it's HP Fire damage and not very effective, because obviously he's not going to go for a Volt Switch here, and I didn't mean not very effective, but neutral. So we are going to switch out here, go into Bird Brain, and see whether this is super effective damage, or see whether this is neutral damage here, or if he just hard switches out, which would show that he didn't have HP Ice. But he is going to go for HP Ice there. It is going to be super effective, as we do see that he is going to have the HP Ice. So he is going to hard switch out here, and oh my gosh, it is the best feeling in the world when someone hard switches out and you go for U-turn. Look at this, oh my gosh, I love it so much. We get that U-turn momentum, and we do enough damage to reveal that he is at least somewhat HP invested, more likely like 200-ish EVs invested into attack, into HP there. But I have the easiest switch in my life to go to Scizor, and I debated back and forth whether or not to go for U-turn or Bullet Punch, but if he just clicked HP Fire there and we lost Scizor, we lost so much on the game, so I really didn't think it was worth risking our Mega Scizor right here. So he sends in his own Scizor, as Rock Paper Mega Scizor is going to come out here, and we are going to go for the BP. Like I said, I didn't really think it was worth risking, and we do a decent chunk there. We do about 20%, keep that in mind. We do about 20%, 18-ish%, so we're going to hard switch out here. We are going to go into our Gligar. I feel like no matter what he wanted to do, he would not click Knockoff, so I feel like Gligar was pretty good, as he goes for the HP Fire, which is very interesting because I almost brought HP Fire on my Scizor, so that's really cool. I'm going to double out here in case he wants to go for a knockoff, and I'm actually going to go into Infernape. I felt like Infernape was a really free switch in. If he knocked off, we're Z and Fighting type. If he Bullet Punched, we're Fire type. So we had a really good switch in there in Infernape, as he goes Jellicent. So good play on his part. I don't know if he predicted that or what, but we're going to go straight for a U-turn here on his Jellicent and get some momentum here. I do believe we go into either Tornadus or Raikou here. I think Tornadus. Yeah, we go Tornadus here because I did not want Raikou to take unnecessary damage. I wanted to kind of scout out this set, as he's going to go Psychium Z. So I'm really glad I went Tornadus here, because this did like 70% to Raikou, or 60% or something if he was 252 modest, because we are minus Spadef Raikou. But we are AV Tornadus, AV Bird Brain, as you already know, so we are going to be able to chew this Shattered Psyche, which is really cool actually. I'm guessing he had this specifically for the Infernape, but I'm not sure why I would have stayed in with Infernape anyway. Because it's a water type, you know what I mean? Like, that was really shocking to me. But I am going to go for a U-turn here, Regenerator. Oh my gosh, I love momentum so much. This is how this team is meant to be used. I'm really enjoying this team right now. But we do go for the U-turn, and we go into Aerial, our Primarina here. I felt like this was a really good switch. We could just kind of click Moonblast and click buttons, as he does go for the Ice Beam, reveals the Ice Beam, does almost no damage to Primarina here. But I feel like we can just click Moonblast, but I am going to switch out, expecting him to possibly have Energy Ball, I think it was. I thought this thing got Energy Ball, or hard switching out into Scizor, one of the two. So he does show the energy, or the Shadow Ball here. What did I expect him to switch into? Roserade! I expected him to switch into Roserade there. That's why I went into Bird Brain, but he's not going to. I'm going to go for a U-turn here, as he does get a crit on that Shadow Ball. Does not matter, because we have Regenerator. But we are going to go into our boy Ariel our girl Ariel, excuse me, once more, as he is going to go for the Shadow Ball to get the most damage on us as possible. And now that I see that he did not go into Roserade last time, I feel pretty confident about clicking Moonblast. I feel like Moonblast is a pretty zero downside play. We're going to get a big chunk off on something, as he is going to stay in and eat this Moonblast, but it does a hefty amount. And we get the special attack drop, which is really, really nice, especially after he got that crit Shadow Ball. So he's going to fire off another Shadow Ball here. He's going to do a pretty decent amount of damage there, I would say, and I felt pretty free to be able to click Rest. If he went Roserade, he went Roserade, but he actually decides to go Scizor, which I really wish I would have got the Moonblast damage on, but it's fine, it's fine. We go for Rest. I felt like Rest was really, really free there, and we're going to get our health back. Keeping Primarina healthy is going to be really, really nice, because we can just kind of click buttons later in the game. But here, I know he doesn't have any move that can OHKO me, so I'm just going to go for the Sleep Talk, as he's going to withdraw and go into Roserade, or go into Seismitoad, excuse me, into Seismitoad. So maybe expecting Sleep Talk, Scald, maybe expecting us to get unlucky, so we are going to Sleep Talk right into Scald here, which sucks. I'm not very lucky when it comes to Sleep Talk, so Water Absorb is going to activate here, and obviously I'm going to switch out. We burn one sleep turn, so we still have one more sleep turn later, but we are going to go into our boy Bird Brain here, as he is likely going to get Rocks up. That's kind of what I expected, but he actually goes for the knockoff and knocks off our AV, which definitely could suck, but we already knocked off the Scarf on the Roserade, so I didn't think it was that big of a deal. We're going to go for a knockoff of our own, and we knock off the Rocky Helmet, which sucks because he did a little bit more damage than I would have liked, as he does go for the Scald, and I was hoping for no burn. I was like, please, 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 no burn. As he doesn't get a burn, we're going to go for a thick U-turn here, as he is going to probably click Rocks. I expected Rocks, expecting me to click U-turn. So I'm going to go out into our boy, or our girl Ariel, try to burn another turn of sleep, hopefully get Moonblast on the Sleep Talk this time, as he does go Scald, or Stealth Rock, excuse me. Because I realized, well, if he was clicking Knockoff on our Primarina, that's his best move to hit us, we can click Sleep Talk, and we can do some serious damage to this thing. So he's going to knock off our Metronome, not the biggest deal in the world, as we are going to go for Sleep Talk, and hopefully get a Moonblast here, as we are going to find out that we get Scald again, which heals him up, and that sucks because Infernape is just out of range to kill him now, which sucks a lot. But he's going to switch out here, as I am going to wake up and just go for the Moonblast. I feel like Moonblast was a pretty free play. I really almost Scalded, but I expected the Scizor, so I didn't expect this at all. So we're going to go for Moonblast and hope for a special attack drop, as the Moonblast is going to connect here and do a hefty amount of damage. No special attack drop this time. We obviously have to switch out. We can't risk much. I'm going to switch out into Baby Oboe the Gligar. I felt like we could take it on pretty nicely, and we could find out if he had HP Ice or HP Fire, and if it turned out he has HP Ice, then Mega Scizor can come in. But he goes for Toxic Spikes. That's a little bit scary, but not too problematic. We have like 3 things that aren't affected by it, I do believe, plus a Rest Primarina, so it wasn't the biggest deal. But I switch out into Rock Paper Mega Scizor here, expecting him to go for HP Ice, as he actually goes for the Leaf Storm. So really interesting, and he actually is going to go to -2 there, and this brought up a really interesting point. He was to the point to where if he had HP Fire, he could not OHKO us from this range because of our investment, because he is a -2, unless he was like Life Orb or something, which obviously he wasn't. He was Scarf, so he could not kill us from this range, or it was a roll heavily in our favor, I do believe. So I could have went for the BP and got the kill, expecting him to stay in, but I did not expect him to stay in at all. It wouldn't have made sense to me. He wouldn't have killed us. So I decided to go for the Defog here to help out our boys in the back and get rid of these rocks, get rid of these toxic spikes. These hazards are going to be really, really annoying. I didn't really expect the Seismitoad. I don't know what I expected, but I expected Jellicent, I guess. Did we kill Jellicent already? I don't remember if we killed Jellicent. We're gonna defog. We're gonna defog, but as I am gonna kind of expect him to not have speed crept this Seismitoad, I'm gonna go for U-turn. I really just wanted to get a gauge on how fast this Seismitoad was, as we do so much damage to that Seismitoad. Scizor is so powerful, dude. But we're gonna go right back into Aerial, and we're gonna start firing off some Moonblasts, as he does go for the Scald, which no big deal at all. Primarina doesn't really care about that, and we are in a prime position to just click Moonblast. Roserade can't switch in. It can't take another Moonblast here, as he does go for Rocks on Seismitoad, feeling like that would really help him late game, and I agree, that was a really good play on his part. We are going to connect with the Moonblast. Kinda wish we speed crept the Seismitoad, but it is what it is, and we're going to miss out on killing it, as it does get the special attack drop. He's actually going to decide to preserve his Seismitoad and sack off at his Jellicent, which was kind of interesting to me. I felt like both of them kind of served the same purpose, I guess, so it didn't really matter either way. But we are going to connect with Moonblast, and we are going to be able to pick up the first kill of the match, I do believe, with that Jellicent, which is really, really nice. Really good game so far. But he goes into Roserade here, and obviously Roserade is a really, really scary mon, really, really problematic. I decided to do the exact same thing I did last time and go into Baby Oboe once more, because the more I looked at it, the more I was like, man, Gligar doesn't do anything in this matchup. We don't have Defog. We can get rocks up if we really want, but he decides to go for the Sludge Bomb, not overplayed too much. I was really fine with letting Gligar go down, as he does click Leaf Storm here. I felt like letting Gligar go down was fine because Gligar was the Hawlucha wall, so there wasn't really any point in keeping it around, minus getting rocks up, which I do believe I clicked there, or maybe I clicked Roost. But I'm going to go into Scizor here because I was like, okay, well, I'm going to bait him to think that I'm going to defog, and I'm going to actually Bullet Punch this time, because we are in range of the HP Fire now. I feel like he would stay in, so we've been overplaying a lot this match, so I decided to just click BP and pick up the KO there on the Roserade, which was really, really nice. Kind of expected him to also go Seismitoad and sack it off, but it is what it is. He's going to go into his Scizor now, and I'm like, shoot, my switching was the Gligar to this, so I'm actually going to switch in Aerial, because Aerial doesn't have the most purpose left in this match. Or we can get in and we can click Rest if he does a lot of damage. So he's actually going to go for Hidden Power Fire, not expecting me to switch out, which is fine. That's such a cool move. He also was Flame Plate, by the way, which was so cool. But he's going to go for Bullet Punch here, as I do believe I go for Rest? Maybe, or maybe I just go for Scald. I actually go for Moonblast, expecting him to just switch out. Okay. Because Seismitoad is Water Absorb. That's why I did that. That is why I did that. But I'm going to switch out here. I think that we can get a Rest off later in the game on, like, the Seismitoad specifically. So I go into Infernape here because I know he cannot really touch this Infernape, as he is going to go for a Bullet Punch and do about 0 damage. And I expected him to go into the Seismitoad here, sack it off, but I really thought there was no downside in clicking Flare Blitz. Really wanted to click Close Combat, but I didn't, just in case the Mega Gardevoir came in for whatever reason. So we are going to click Flare Blitz here, and he is actually going to live on like 1 HP, which doesn't suck, actually. That's actually really good for us, because that lets us get momentum with U-turn, whereas before he would have just went into Galvantula or Mega Gardevoir or something who he knew outsped us, and then tried to pick up a KO or do a lot of damage to us. So that actually worked out for us. We get some momentum, and we're able to go into, I believe, LT-Gray. We're able to go into LT-Gray here, because LT-Gray matched up really, really nicely against everything. It kind of prevented the Galvantula. It kind of prevented the Gardevoir. Like, it was really weird. It was really weird. But he doesn't decide to go Gardevoir here. We're able to Volt Switch and get some momentum on this Gardevoir. As long as he properly speed crept our Gligar or our Mega Scizor or whatever it was, I was really, really worried that he actually just went max speed timid. I was so worried when I clicked this button. I was like, if he kills us, he kills us and we lose. But we go for the Volt Switch here, and we are going to get a big chunk of damage off on that Gardevoir. I believe that is 252 HP. As we are going to switch out here, and we go into Aerial. I felt like Primarina didn't have the most purpose left. Now that the Seismitoad was gone, we could not rest up on basically anything, so I decided to sack it off. It didn't have the most purpose. It did really good, though. It did a lot of damage to a lot of things, so it actually impressed me. It really, really did. So we're actually going to go into Rock, Paper, Mega Scizor here, and I debated back and forth for a long time whether to click BP or U-turn, but I was like, no. We have overplayed so much this match, he's going to expect us to overplay. We're going to go for BP. He switches into Scizor. I should have clicked Roost. Looking back at it, I really should have clicked Roost, or I should have clicked U-turn, but we are going to click BP here, and we do about 22-ish% to the regular Scizor. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. We're going to hard switch out here, and we are going to go into Bird Brain. Bird Brain did not have the most purpose left. I felt like I was okay letting Bird Brain die if he decided to go for a Bullet Punch or HP Fire, whatever it is, but he actually reveals that he's a Roost, so he's not Bullet Punch. Or he's not Choice Band, excuse me, he's not Choice Band, which I was actually surprised about. So here, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to switch out, get a little bit of Regenerator back, and we're going to go into Wukong, our Infernape, because he cannot really touch us. Now, I just want to say, why is Owen calling me? Hold on. I choked here. I choked really hard because we were in a position to where his mons were really, really low, and Scizor could basically just click Bullet Punch to win the game. Rock, Paper, Mega Scizor could just click Bullet Punch to win the game. Infernape lived 2 Bullet Punches. Raikou lived 2 Bullet Punches. Everything was fine and dandy. But I decided, I was like, you know what, he's not going to click Bullet Punch. He's going to click U-turn and get out of here on our Infernape. So I was like, you know what, we'll switch in Infernape. We can take 2 Bullet Punches. I forgot rocks were on the field. I don't know why, but I forgot rocks were on the field, so I sent him an Infernape, and I saw his HP drop, and I was like, wait, we don't live 2 Bullet Punches now, do we? And he goes for Bullet Punch. We don't live 2 Bullet Punches, so I started panicking. I do this really badly when I misplay. I start panicking and I misplay even more. When I saw this, I was like, okay, well, we have to save Infernape because it outspeeds the Gardevoir, which nothing else does, which, like, obviously Raikou does, Tornadus does. We're fine. I just need to take a second and breathe. But I panicked, and I was like, okay, Raikou can probably take 2 bullet punches. I didn't even calc it. I was like, Raikou can probably take 2 bullet punches. Go get him, LT-Gray. And I switch into Raikou, and that's a double choke, because Raikou could take 2. However, we could have just clicked Thunderbolt, and he clicks Bullet Punch, and it did a lot of damage. It's not quite a 2-hit KO, but it did a lot of damage, and we could have got 2 hits off instead of just this singular hit that we are going to get off if I wouldn't have switched LT-Gray in and just let our Infernape go down. But I decided, I was like, let's choke real quick. We're going to go for Thunderbolt, and we're going to do like 60-ish% to this Scizor, as he is going to Bullet Punch and just be able to kill our Raikou. And I was like, wait, we're fine. This Scizor, it's in range of our Scizor's Bullet Punch. We're fine. As long as he's not Speedy Scizor, we're fine. So I'm going to go into Scizor here. I'm going to try to finish this game out. As long as he wasn't fast, we could win. But we kind of forced him to Bullet Punch or something. So, like I said, he was under 20%, and you guys saw we did 22%, 18% with Bullet Punch earlier. We're in a fine position. He goes Galvantula, which actually I didn't understand, because this was the thing that I didn't think I could OHKO with Bullet Punch, which I couldn't. I just needed a little bit more damage on Galvantula. But when he sent that in, I was like, okay, we can win. We can actually win. We Bullet Punched the Galvantula, and I was like, okay, everything dies to a Bullet Punch now. We won. That's great. We won. And then he sends in Scizor. And I was like, okay, maybe he's fast Scizor, maybe he's faster than me and Bullet Punch will KO. I had no idea. I had no idea what to expect. We're gonna Bullet Punch here. You guys saw, it did 18 to 22% earlier. He lives on the tiniest bit of HP I have ever seen in my life. I actually want to watch his battle, or watch his perspective, which I'm going to anyway. But I want to see how much HP he lived on, because that was a roll, and I think that was the absolute min roll. We did 18%-ish earlier, we did 22-ish% earlier. He was, if you don't know, red HP is like 20%, so he was at probably about 18-17%, something like that. We had to get like an absolute min roll, and at this point I was like, great, we just lost because of a roll. That's awesome. That is awesome. But instead of clicking HP Fire, he decided to click Bullet Punch just in case he outsped us, or just in case he got a crit. And we're gonna win the game because he clicked Bullet Punch. Pokemon almost cucked us, but guess what? It didn't. So we're gonna be able to pick up the KO on the Scizor here. Rock, paper, Scizor dancing on the regular Scizor, and then obviously Gardevoir is not gonna live a Bullet Punch, so Mega Scizor is picking up for this game, and we are gonna beat your Seattle Drizzlers in Week 2. Your Portland Nightshade is gonna move on to be 1-1, which is awesome. Pokemon almost cucked us, but thankfully I would have done the same thing too, man. Like honestly, if I was in Tyler's situation, just frustrated because you already thought you lost and then just started clicking buttons. I completely understand where he was coming from on that, so let me go ahead and put this here. I completely understand where he was coming from on that, definitely 100%. But good game to Tyler. That was so fun. That was one of the more fun Pokemon battles I've had. It was 50 turns, and it may have been a 4-0 or 3-0 or whatever it was, but that doesn't tell the story of the actual battle. That was a really, really fun battle, really nice battle. He made some really, really good plays and had some really, really good prep, and just like he's grown so much since I started watching him all this time ago. So shout out to Tyler, man. Make sure you go check him out if you have not already, down in the description below. It'll be the first thing besides the timestamp for when the match starts. Make sure that if you like the video to leave a like, guys, and that's gonna do it for me here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Next week we are taking on Kay and her LA Spice. She is a new coach, relatively new coach, I believe, to the APA. This is like her second season or something, so hopefully we'll be able to take it to her and get a dub. But thank you guys so much for watching, and for now, guys, this has been John Jr. signing off.